Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello, hello, hello.
Did you know that in August, the U.S. saw at least 4 different billion-dollar disasters?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so we had Hurricanes Laura and Isaias, and then we had the wildfires, not really just even California. I mean, the wildfires were all over the West. And the Midwest derecho, in case we forgot. So, big events.
Big bucks, too.
Most definitely, a lot of people, losing their homes and their livelihoods, and you name it. We see this Oregon man surrounded by wildfire survived by lying in a river using a chair as a shield.
Oh my gosh, that poor guy. He looks happier now, I think.
Well, that was using his brain. That was good. That was being smart.
Yep.
And we certainly have a lot of wildfire smoke coming across the Midwest, even hitting as far as New York. That's just incredible. And, it's not just the U.S. or Siberian ones, too, that have been doing amazing damage. And we see the Oregon fires. Homeowners have suffered huge losses as wildfires ravage Clackamas County, but not all damage is done by flames. As towns empty out, looters move in. And that's just a sad situation. That people would be so low to do that, but it does happen.
Yes, it is sad.
And check out this lady. She was ready, trained, and had the will to act and stop a potential arsonist. So as we see here, an Oregon woman forced a suspected arsonist to the ground at gunpoint after she found him on her property with matches. Dramatic video shows. And there's a link to New York Post there.
Girl power, go.
Yeah, right? This family hadn't even been allowed in to see what remained of their home, which was destroyed by wildfires, and this is a buzz everywhere you look, as it was a photo op apparently for the governor and Kamala Harris. My thing I want to say again is, just like we saw before in the other couple years, everything's gone. There's nothing gone but like a little chimney over here. And there's trees standing still.
Yeah, it's almost like it was zapped, like targeted somehow.
Just kind of like, as we were saying, a beam from the sky and targeting things. So heavy showers and thunderstorms, some severe from Sally, likely produce flash flooding in the southeast and mid-Atlantic. And showers and thunderstorms, some severe in Oregon. Cascade foothills. Now that could cause burn, mud, and debris flows, as we've actually had some landslides in pretty diverse places. This is one of the other things that happens with the deforestation from the fires, and then if you do get rains, you could have landslides.
Yeah, you can, and that's dangerous.
And India has lost so many people, it seems, over the past year to lightning strikes. 42 people killed in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh in India in another round of lightning strikes.
That's really sad, too. It's just, it keeps getting worse.
Everything is intensifying. Everything is intensifying. And so we have a climate emergency, and we have the worst flooding on record in Sudan. The River Nile burst its banks, killing at least 99 people, collapsing more than 100,000 houses.
Yikes. That's sad.
100,000 houses.
And that is so many, and all those people, probably more than one person in each house, too.
It's just incredible. I mean, again, we see people just, they're on the roofs trying to keep safe. If you're in an area that's had flooding, it's more than likely going to continue. So, again, you have to think about, well, what are you going to do moving forward? And of course, a lot of people are just they don't have the money or the means to do anything, but just try to react as best they can. Let's always send our prayers and best wishes to everybody as we see Uganda here, flash floods again being very deadly. It swept away a 12-year-old girl that had been playing ball, and the rains came down so much, and the ball went into a trench. She went to go get the ball, and it swept her away. And here's a video too. It's hard to figure out what's going, because what happened was a guy was just going along on his bike, and then the ground must have gave way. with all the flood waters, and the whole bike and everything gets flooded. Thankfully, people are there to pull him up and out. It didn't really look like they were able to salvage the bike. They were trying. Crazy times. And talking about landslides, flooding, landslides, and a destructive tornado in Vietnam. As you see, it's just incredible what we're seeing all across the globe, and it's all impacting the food supply as well. And we have this rapidly intensifying storm again. It's a Medicane, and that's, again, it's not Medicare, it's a Medicane. So it's basically a hurricane in the Mediterranean.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
And so this one is forecast to strike Greece, and we had talked about it. But the winds, just when we were looking at this yesterday, were much, much lower. Now, some of the models say it could get to 125 miles an hour. That's pretty strong. We're talking a major hurricane.
Mm-hmm. It's, again, I mean, things are just ratcheting up.
And another landslide. This is in Costa Rica, having to relocate infrastructure. There's going to be areas that are just going to have to kind of be abandoned. And that's like one of the points that I was trying to get across. And you're going to end up with massive relocations of people, businesses as well. It's just, and this is what we've seen in past ages. If you follow history, you see what happens, like in the Maunder Minimum, for instance, when there's no food all of a sudden. Our good friend Dave at Adapt 2030, he had a gentleman on there. We're talking about what happens when the Gulf Stream shuts down, which is, its output has been slowing. We covered that like a year ago, where it's at the lowest level we've ever seen, and that's the whole scenario behind the Day After Tomorrow movie. Not that we're going to have that type of devastation, boom, right away, but when that thing stops, you're not going to have any growth zones really above the flow of it. And so it shoots straight across towards Portugal instead of going up and warming up New England and Europe, UK and everything. It's going to get so much colder when that happens. And it's just not going to be feasible to really grow foods in those areas the way we have been growing them now. And, I shot Dave a text yesterday just saying, what if we could just put some of the money that we're putting into the military spending, like $1 trillion the U.S. is heading towards an annual basis, spending $1 trillion, and put 300 million or 400 million even, just a tiny little fraction, into just, starting to build greenhouses in certain zones, desalination plants. It really, I just don't understand. There's just no will to do these things. There's no will. All they want to do, the politicians, is point fingers at each other, blame us for carbon emissions, and spend money on the weapons of war, when obviously there's going to be such famine. And that famine's going to cause desperation. The crime rate's going to go way up. It's just, it's really a travesty.
And they want us to vote for them, and it doesn't really matter who you vote for. The travesties are going to continue.
Yeah, if you vote Democrat or Republican, and really, has there ever been any fair elections? I'll even throw that out there when we go back into history. If we look way back, gosh, I'm trying to remember the exact years, when the Irish immigrants were coming over in waves, I think it was just right around the Civil War time. It was just like they would just basically pull them off the boat, sign them up to be part of a party, and to go vote, and then just, ship them off to go to war. It's just crazy. It's been corrupt the whole time. And, there's been so much being said about taking down these monuments and things, realizing that, give me liberty or give me death, Patrick Henry, yet at the same time, he was a slave owner. Right. So can you say, is that hypocritical or what?
Just a wee bit.
It's hypocritical. There's no way around it. Anyway, so I'm digressing. But a landslide blocking the Presumscot River in Westbrook is threatening a flash flood event in Cumberland County. So this is up in Maine. And again, the areas that are really, really saturated with precipitation and the ground doesn't get a chance to dissipate it, that becomes more and more often. And we just see so much of it. Now Vietnam's going to evacuate 500,000 people. Tropical storm Newell is nearing the area. So, this one has strengthened to speeds of 135 kilometers per hour. So one storm after another, seriously record-breaking year, and more mass deaths and die-offs. We have 351 sea turtles found dead. This is in Baja California. In 6 months on the same coast where 137 sea lions died in Mexico. Sad, very, very sad. And then we have some interesting things here. We have a Russian space agency believing humans could one day live on Callisto, which is Jupiter's second largest moon. We've gotten some interesting things out of the Russian space agency lately, as this one could have frozen water below the surface. And after our moon and Mars, they're saying this would be the next best one to put a base up. I bet you we're going to be blown away with all the technology that's going to be leaked out over the next handful of years. Meanwhile, we're going to be going through political upheaval like we've never seen in this country. And we got Russia saying it may be a living hell, but it's a Russian planet. So Moscow's going to focus efforts on exploration of Venus, so says their space agency. That's an interesting statement, too, because Venus is thought to be so inhospitable. But, do you believe them? And when I say them, I mean all the big ones, NOAA, NASA, all the powers that be. I don't believe them at all. We have evidence of mud floods going on, complete redoing of our history. How do we really know? How do we really trust any of these agencies that are giving us a quote-unquote official data?
Well, yeah, and we have to keep in mind, too, that they're giving us information based on their agenda and what they want us to react to.
Exactly. So, as always, guys, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Stay prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.